Bubba Scrub, Culture War Commentary, Volume 4, Episode 5, Marker. What is going on in society today? I mean, this big thing with this WNBA player, Sophie Cunningham, and her basically saying, oh, I support biological women playing women's sports. And people on the left, specifically the pro-trans crowd, are losing their minds. I mean, I don't really feel as if that what this chick is saying is really like out of bounds or doesn't make sense. I think most people, if it was their daughter and they were playing, on a team or something like that, and then somebody else's kid who's a boy was like, oh, my son identifies as a girl so he can play in your league and change in your locker room, etc., etc. Even if you were like, oh, I support the trans rights and all that stuff, you'd be like, no. I mean, everybody knows that, so the fact that this is such a controversy, I just don't understand where, why people are taking such offense to this. I mean, and I guess this is just indicative of, the internet, social media. It has this outsized influence in society. I don't know, I read a statistic that said something like 40% of the population is online. And of that, there's a percentage that is deep into the social media, into the Twitter, into the Instagram, into the whatever. And then these people are the ones that are commentating on, whatever's happening in society and being outraged or whatever. And talk about having an outsized influence, because I don't really feel as if that the rest of society, one, even cares about this, or two, really even has an opinion. It's like, this girl is just exercising her First Amendment right to say, I support biological females and female sports only. No trans males or whatever. And so I just don't understand why it's such a big deal. Meanwhile, you have this retired NBA player, this Enes Kanter. He's originally from Turkey. Played in the NBA for like 10 years. He was a decent player. He comes out this week and says, you know what? I'm going to show these trans advocates, and says, I am declaring myself, I identify as a woman. Therefore, I am going to register for next year's WNBA draft so that I can then play in the women's league and basically dominate them, or whatever, as a way to, get back at the backlash against this Sophie Cunningham and her, her stance or something. And it's like, this guy, he's not making anything any better by doing that. I mean, this is just so performative. And I mean, this is where our society is going. Everything is so performative now. Whether it's, oh, you have this giant truck, or, oh, everything is so over the top, And I guess we get that from Trump, because he's the one that's setting the tone for the rest of the country. So if he's phobic, transphobic, homophobic, racist, or whatever, and then basically just comes out and just says it, which honestly, as much as I don't agree with his point of view, at least he just kind of says it like it is, I mean, I have to give credit where credit is due, especially for all the people that think, oh, all I do is trash Trump. Well, here's me giving him some kind of credit. But it just emboldens people to be hateful, to be, vulgar. When you call everybody, scumbags and sleazebags and traitors, all you're doing is just emboldening the people who follow you and who buy into your mindset to basically do the same thing. And let's just be honest, walking around in general society, nobody is going up to somebody face to face and saying, you know what, I don't like black people, or I don't like trans people. Yeah, they'll talk behind their back, but they would never go up to them face to face and say, you know what, let me tell you something, because Trump made it okay. Anyway, that's my theory on it, is that, people are just more emboldened than ever to act like a clown, because they're looking at Trump, and Trump is the one acting like a clown. So they're saying, oh, well, he's doing it, why can't I? Speaking of clowns, I mean, this guy, he introduced, not one, but two new wigs this week. And he was wearing one wig, and everybody kind of called it out, and it looked like a dead possum on his head. And then he sported a different one, or a different style comb over with the same one, or whatever. But everybody's like, this guy's such a joke, it's pathetic. He's totally bald. He's been combing over for years. Now he has this wig. He would never admit it. It's just like the orange bronzing, This dude is so super pasty white. And I know that when he's on TV, he's so sensitive to how he looks on television, because it's all about image, it's all about ratings. And really that's just a metaphor for his administration, quote unquote, it's all sizzle and no steak. And I guess that's okay for his supporters, so long as he owns the libs. Let's burn down the whole country, so long as it pisses off the libs, right? Let's, we'll shoot other Americans, we'll have ICE running around shooting Americans, and we'll say, oh, well, it's fine because it'll just piss off the libs. That's all that matters. Oh yeah, let's just go to Iran and spend $1 billion a day on the war. And, by all accounts, now we're running out of missiles. So they're like, oh no, it's okay, because the libs hate it. I mean, this is where we're at in society right now. So, but, I mean, this is so ridiculous, this guy's wigs. But at least he got brought down a peg with his whole stupid ballroom, which, by the way, in case you didn't know this, the ballroom is one big grift. All these people say, well, it's not, taxpayers aren't paying any money for it. Horseshit. It's all just a pay-to-play scam. The people who are donating, that money's going right in his pocket. Ultimately, it's going to be the taxpayers who are going to pay for whatever structure actually gets erected there. I find it kind of ironic and quite the metaphor for this Jagoff's presidency, that there's just going to be just a rubble, just a construction site, where the East Wing used to be. And, then he's also got this helipad that apparently they spent, I don't know, however many millions of dollars to build a helipad, basically right outside the South Portico, because this guy can barely walk anymore, because he's had a bunch of mini strokes, he has congestive heart failure, he has water retention, et cetera, et cetera. He has dementia, right? So he can't even walk down to the lawn where Marine One would usually come and pick him up. He has to have a helipad now built. And then also, this is apparently, he wants it done because Xi Jinping, or whatever his name is, who's the president of communist China, is coming to visit the U.S. in the next couple of weeks or something. And he wants it for, to basically show off and say, here, you can have your personal chopper come and land here right in front of the White House. Anyway, apparently he didn't like the slope down from the lawn down to it or something. There was some issue with it, something totally trivial. And he's like, rip this all up and do it all over again. So basically pissing away millions of dollars just because, he doesn't like something. And I mean, I don't think that this guy really, he gets it. He knows that he has to go through all these zoning laws and all this stuff. And as a developer in New York, I'm sure that was the bane of his existence once upon a time. But then once he became president, this guy just basically said, well, I'm above the law and I can do whatever I want and, stop me. And for his supporters, it's totally fine. This guy's breaking the law left and right? Whatever it is. Whether it's the annulments clause, whether it's ripping down the East Wing without the proper authorization, whether it's, building this or updating, or, the the no contest bid on the reflecting pool, which is a total fiasco too. And then their stupid wannabe show trial where they arrested that former Olympian because he pulled a piece of the lining up, right? And they go, well, you vandalized this thing. No, he didn't. The company you picked just sucked. And they did a shitty job. And so you had to blame somebody. And they made this huge thing, perp walk this guy, metaphorically speaking, and trashed his good name. And you get this stupid Janine Pirro, who, of course, I understand that this woman's qualifications begin and end with her being like a Judge Judy. It's like putting Judge Judy in charge of, the Department of Justice, which honestly, Judge Judy would probably do a better job than Todd Blanche or any of the other clowns, Pam Bondi or any of these other clowns that have served as Attorney General under Trump. And, she gets the job, District Attorney for the District of Columbia, because she was on TV, because, she had a law show on TV or something like that. So he goes, oh, well, she must be qualified. And she has to come out and eat crow because they don't have a case against this guy. And they know they won't get a conviction from a jury trial. So then they dismiss the charges. But yet it's still vandalism. That's the only thing it could be, because everything is done so perfectly in Trump's world, right? Anyway, speaking of Todd Blanche, that's a whole other situation. This guy, if that is not the biggest conflict of interest, Trump's former personal attorney, Michael Cohen, why don't you just let him be attorney? He could be assistant attorney general now, right? Anyway, the fact that that the Senate confirmed this guy, and that the deciding vote was this idiot, Bill Cassidy, who had nothing left to lose because he'd already lost his primary because Trump basically pulled his card and still decided to go along. And I guess it's because he thinks that he still has some political career, and that, if he has to go back home to his district and try to fundraise or work for a PAC, and they said, well, you didn't vote for Todd Blanche. Todd Blanche has got to be one of the most unlikable people working in the federal government today. I don't even think other people, there's nobody in the administration that even likes the guy, maybe except for Trump, right? His, just his whole mannerism, this whole Epstein thing that he was in charge of. They're totally on the side of Epstein. And the fact that the MAGA supporters don't seem to care. If that was your daughter that had been trafficked, you'd be looking for blood. But because it isn't your daughter, because it's somebody else's daughter, you don't care. You're just like, whatever, it doesn't affect me. And I get it. That's just life in general. But, somewhere along the way, we lost some kind of principle. We lost some kind of, respect for ourselves. And that, we just decided, better to go on social media, be super performative, pretend that we have all this money, pretend we're living our best life. It's all a sham. But it doesn't matter so long as everybody believes it. And we'll compromise anything that we have in order, any kind of moral that we have in order to, portray this farce. And that's basically a metaphor for the whole Trump administration. It's just a farce. It's just basically a reality TV show masquerading as politics. And maybe that's what politics has become now. Anyway, apologize for not making a video for some time. I'm going to try to make some more here in the next few weeks. I've been working on a different project, but talk to you guys soon.